Admiral Robert Kane stood in the command center of New Haven Station, the largest space station humans had ever built. Through the massive windows, he could see ships from dozens of different species. The station was alive with activity as beings, who had never worked together, learned to fight as one. It had been 2 years since the Battle of Kithara Ridge, as history would remember it. 2 years since humans had first protected prey species from their hunters. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. "Admiral," said Colonel Amy Foster, walking up to him with a datapad in her hands. "The morning reports are ready." Robert took the pad and read through the numbers. 37 new refugee fleets arrived this week? "Yes, sir. Word is still spreading. Species that have been hiding for centuries are finally coming out to ask for help." Robert nodded and continued reading. The numbers were staggering. Nearly 2 million beings from over 100 different species now lived under human protection. They had spread across 40 star systems, creating the largest alliance the galaxy had ever seen. "What about the military training programs?" Amy smiled. "That is the best news, sir. The Kithara detection networks are now connected across all our territory. We can spot hunter fleets weeks before they arrive. The Zelani camouflage technology has been adapted to our warships. And the Mothak engineering teams have designed mobile bases that can be anywhere in the galaxy within days." Robert was amazed by how quickly the prey species had learned to fight. It turned out that running and hiding for millions of years had taught them skills that were very useful in warfare. They just needed someone to show them how to use those skills to attack instead of escape. "Sir," said Lieutenant Ben Clark from his station, "we have an incoming message from the Vorthak Empire." Robert and Amy exchanged looks. The Vorthak had been quiet for months, building up their forces while smaller hunter species tested human defenses. "Put it through." The main screen showed a massive Vorthak warrior. It was 12 feet tall and covered in natural armor that looked like black metal. Its claws could cut through steel, and its eyes showed the cold intelligence of a species that had ruled over others for millions of years. "I am War Leader Krex Voth," the creature said in a voice like grinding stone. "You will surrender the prey species you have stolen from us. You will also surrender your own species to serve as payment for the damage you have caused." Robert stepped forward. "This is Admiral Kane of the Free Species Alliance. The beings under our protection are not property to be stolen. They are free, citizens who have chosen to work with us." The Vorthak made a sound that might have been laughter. "Free? Prey species are not capable of freedom. They exist to serve their betters. This is the natural order." "The natural order is about to change," Robert said calmly. "You think your small alliance can stand against the combined might of the hunter empires? We have ships that can destroy planets. We have weapons that can kill stars themselves. Maybe. But you have never faced an enemy like us before." The Vorthak leaned closer to the camera. "What makes you so special, little hunters?" Robert thought about how to explain human nature to a creature that had no concept of protecting the weak. "We did not evolve to rule over others. We evolved to hunt together, to protect our pack. When you threaten any member of our alliance, you threaten all of us." "Words," the Vorthak said dismissively. "We will see how brave you are when our fleets arrive. You have 1 week to surrender." The screen went dark. Robert turned to Amy. "How long until they reach our territory?" "Intelligence says 5 days. Maybe 6. They are bringing everything they have, sir. Over 300 warships." Robert walked over to the tactical display. It showed the positions of all Alliance forces across their territory. The numbers looked small compared to what was coming. "Amy, send the signal to all Alliance members. Tell them it is time." Amy nodded and began sending coded messages. Within hours, the largest military operation in galactic history began to unfold. Ships that had been hidden across dozens of star systems started moving toward the battle zone. But these were not just human ships. Kithara vessels with the best sensors in the galaxy, Zalani ships that could become invisible, Mothak mobile bases that could supply the fleet anywhere, and hundreds of other species, each contributing their unique abilities to the fight. "Sir," said Ben, "we are getting reports from our scouts. The prey species in Vorthak territory are doing something unprecedented." "What do you mean?" "They are fighting back. For the first time in their history, they are sabotaging Vorthak facilities and helping their guards escape. The Vorthak have had to pull ships back from their attack fleet to deal with rebellions." Robert smiled. This was what he had hoped would happen. The Alliance was not just about protecting refugees. It was about showing every oppressed being in the galaxy that they did not have to accept being prey. 3 days later, the Vorthak fleet arrived. Robert watched from the command center as 300 massive warships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. "Amy, give me the status of our forces." "All Alliance ships are in position, sir. We have 450 vessels total." "We outnumber them?" "In ships, yes. But their ships are much larger and more heavily armed." Robert opened a channel to the entire Alliance fleet. "All vessels, this is Admiral Kane. Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every being in this galaxy who has ever been afraid. We fight to prove that the strong should protect the weak, not prey upon them." The battle that followed lasted 3 days and changed the course of galactic history. The Vorthak attacked with the brutal tactics they had used for millions of years, expecting their enemies to break and run. But the Alliance fought like no army the galaxy had ever seen. Kithara censorships spotted every Vorthak move before it happened. Zalani stealth ships appeared behind enemy lines to strike at weak points. Human vessels used pack tactics to surround and destroy larger enemies. Most importantly, they fought for something the Vorthak could not understand. They fought to protect others, not to conquer them. On the 3rd day, war leader Krex Voth sent a surrender message to the human fleet. "This is not possible," he said, his voice filled with confusion. "And defeat. Prey species cannot defeat hunters. This violates the laws of nature." Robert appeared on the screen one last time. "The laws of nature are about to change. From now on, this galaxy belongs to everyone who lives in it, not just the strongest." In the months that followed, the news of the Alliance victory spread to every corner of the galaxy. Hunter empires that had ruled for millions of years found themselves facing rebellions from their own prey species. The Nexari discovered that their hunting grounds were protected by invisible ships they could not find. The Shatar learned that beings who were no longer afraid could not provide the fear energy they needed to survive. 1 year later, Admiral Kane stood in the same command center looking out at a very different galaxy. Vex-Ka, now serving as the Alliance's first alien admiral, walked up beside him. "Robert," Vex-Ka said, using the human's first name as a sign of friendship. "My people have a new saying. When the hunters came, we learned to run. When the humans came, we learned to stand." Robert nodded. "And what comes next?" Vex-Ka's skin turned the bright golden color that meant hope and joy. "Next, we learn to fly. Outside the station, ships from 100 different species worked together to build a better future. The galaxy was still a dangerous place, but it was no longer ruled by fear. For the first time in millions of years, the hunted had become the hunters, and they hunted for justice, for freedom, and for a future where no one would ever have to run again. Commander Lisa Hayes stood on the bridge of the battleship Guardian as it moved through space toward the edge of human territory. Behind her, 23 other human ships followed in formation. This was the largest military fleet Earth had ever sent into unknown space. "Contact in 30 minutes, reported her communications officer Danny Park. "The Nexari hunting fleet is moving straight toward the Cathara refugee ships." Lisa felt her stomach tighten. 3 months ago, a group of Cathara families had asked for protection while they moved to a new hiding place. The humans had said yes. Now, 15 Nexari warships were closing in to claim their prey. "How many Cathara ships are we protecting?" Lisa asked. 47, Commander. About 12,000 civilians total, men, women, and children. Lisa thought about that number. 12,000 innocent beings who had never hurt anyone. They had spent their whole lives running from hunters. Today, for the first time, someone was going to stand and fight for them. "Commander," said her tactical officer, Tony Miller, "we are getting the first good look at the Nexari ships." The main screen showed the enemy fleet. Lisa had seen pictures before, but seeing them in person was different. The Nexari ships looked like giant insects made of metal. They had long, thin arms that could grab other ships. Their hulls were covered in spikes and weapons that were designed to look scary. "They are trying to contact us," Danny reported. "Put them through." The screen changed to show a Nexari face. Lisa had to fight not to step back. The creature looked like a mix between a spider and a shark. Its eyes were completely black, and its mouth was full of sharp teeth. "Small hunters," the Nexari said in perfect English. "You are in our hunting ground. Remove yourselves before we decide to hunt you as well." Lisa stepped forward. "This is Commander Hayes of the Human Defense Fleet. You are threatening beings under our protection. Leave this area immediately." The Nexari made a sound that might have been laughter. It was a terrible noise, like breaking glass mixed with screaming. "Protection? You think you can protect prey from the Nexari? We have been hunting in this galaxy for 1,000,000 years. We have never failed to catch our prey." "There is a first time for everything," Lisa said. The Nexari's black eyes seemed to grow larger. "You amuse us, little hunters. We will add you to our collection. But first, we will take the Cathara. You can watch and learn what happens to those who interfere with our hunts." The screen went dark. Lisa turned to her crew. "All ships, battle. Stations. Remember your training. These are not humans we are fighting. They think differently, they move differently, and they have different weaknesses. Over the past 3 months, human military experts had studied everything the prey species could tell them about hunter tactics. The Nexari were fast and loved to play games with their enemies. They would try to split up the human fleet and pick off ships one by one. "Danny, send a message to the Cathara ships. Tell them to move to the coordinates we discussed. Get them as far from the battle as possible." "Yes, ma'am." Lisa watched the enemy ships on her screen. They were moving in a pattern designed to look random, but she could see the plan. They were trying to confuse the humans and make them panic. "Tony, do you see what they are doing?" "Yes, ma'am." "Classic pack hunting behavior. They are trying to make us focus on one ship while the others attack from different directions." "Exactly. But they do not know that humans invented pack hunting." Lisa opened a channel to all the human ships. "All vessels, this is Guardian. Execute Plan Alpha. Remember, we are not trying to outrun them or outhide them. We are going to outhunt them." The human fleet split into 4 groups. Instead of running from the Nexari, they moved to surround them. It was a tactic that had never been used in galactic warfare because prey species always ran away. The Nexari seemed confused. Their ships slowed down, unsure how to react to prey that was attacking them. "They are trying to contact us again," Danny said. "Ignore them. Actions speak louder than words." The first Nexari ship fired at the human formation. Its weapons were designed to disable rather than destroy. The Nexari wanted to capture their prey alive so the hunt could continue. But the humans fired back with weapons designed to kill quickly and efficiently. 3 human ships focused their fire on the single Nexari vessel. It exploded in seconds. "One down," Tony reported. "The others are retreating." "No," Lisa said firmly. "We do not let them retreat. If we let them escape, they will come back with more ships, and they will tell other hunters that humans can be beaten." She opened the fleet channel again. "All ships pursue and destroy. Do not let any Nexari ship escape." What followed was unlike any battle the galaxy had ever seen. For millions of years, space combat had been about hunters chasing prey. Fast ships pursuing slower ones across empty space until the prey made a mistake or ran out of fuel. But humans had turned it into something else. They used pack tactics, surrounding individual enemy ships and destroying them quickly. When the Nexari tried to run, the humans followed. When the Nexari tried to hide, the humans found them. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it was over, all 15 Nexari ships had been destroyed. The human fleet had lost only 2 ships. "Commander," Danny said quietly, "we are getting messages from all over this part of space." "What kind of messages?" "Prey species. Dozens of them. They watched the battle somehow. They are asking if what they saw was real." Lisa looked at the empty space where the Nexari fleet had been. She thought about the 12,000 Kithara civilians who were now safe. She thought about all the other innocent beings who had spent their lives running in terror. Tell them it was real. Tell them that the age of running is over. Tony was studying his instruments. "Commander, I am picking up more ships approaching. Long-range sensors show a lot of them." Lisa felt her heart sink. "More Nexari?" "No, ma'am. These are different. The computer says they match the design patterns of prey species. Looks like refugees heading in our direction." Danny checked his communications. "I am getting hundreds of messages now. Prey species from all over this region are asking for protection. They want to come to human space." Lisa realized what was happening. Word of the human victory was spreading, faster than light. For the first time in galactic history, hunters had been defeated by someone protecting prey. Every terrified species in nearby space was looking for hope. "How many ships?" she asked. "Hard to say exactly. Maybe 1,000. Maybe more." Lisa thought about what this meant. Earth had just declared war on the entire system of hunters and prey that had ruled the galaxy for millions of years. There would be consequences. Bigger hunters would come. Stronger fleets would attack, but there would also be allies. Species that had hidden for centuries would finally have a reason to fight back. "Set course for home," Lisa ordered, "and send a message to Earth. Tell them we are going to need a much bigger fleet." As the Guardian turned toward human space, Lisa looked back at the approaching refugee ships. Each one carried beings who had never known safety. For the first time in their lives, they were not running away from something. They were running toward something, toward hope, toward protection, toward a future where they would not have to be afraid. The hunt was over. The war was just beginning. Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez sat in the war room deep inside Earth's military headquarters. Maps of the galaxy covered every wall. Red dots showed where hunter species lived. Blue dots showed where prey species hid. The pattern was clear and terrible. "Tell me again about the Vorthak," said General Chris Murphy. He was the head of Earth's Space Defense Forces, a serious man who did not like surprises. Sam pointed to a large red area on the main map. "They control about 30 star systems, maybe 10 billion of them total. They are big, strong, and they treat other species like farm animals." "How big?" "Reports say they are 12 feet tall and weigh as much as a small car. They have natural armor on their skin and claws that can cut through metal. But the worst part is how they think." General Murphy leaned forward. "Go on." "They have been doing this for so long that they see other species as property. Not enemies, not even animals. Just things they own. They breed some species for food. They use others as workers. Some they keep just for entertainment." Dr. Helen Casey was also in the room. She had spent weeks interviewing Vexca and other aliens who had come to human space seeking safety. "The psychological damage is severe," she said. "Species that have been under Vorthak control for generations have no concept of freedom. They think being owned is normal." Sam moved to another part of the map. "The Nexari are different, but just as bad. They are smaller than the Vorthak, but much faster. They have technology that lets them travel between stars in days instead of months." "What makes them dangerous?" "They hunt for sport. A Nexari hunting party will track a single prey ship across multiple star systems. They could catch their target quickly, but they do not want to. They want the chase to last as long as possible." General Murphy looked disgusted. "They enjoy making others suffer." "Yes, sir, and they share videos of their hunts with other Nexari. The longer and more terrifying the hunt, the more famous the hunters become." Helen pulled up images on her tablet. "I have reports from survivor species. The Nexari will disable a prey ship's engines but leave life support working. Then they follow the ship for months, sending scary messages, appearing and disappearing. They want their victims to be completely terrified before the end." Sam pointed to the darkest red area on the map. "But the Shatar are the worst of all." The room became quiet. Everyone had heard stories about the Shatar, but the details were too horrible for most people to believe. "They do not eat normal food," Sam explained. "They feed on fear itself. Terror, panic, despair. These emotions create energy that the Shatar can absorb and use." "How is that possible?" asked General Murphy. "We do not fully understand it. It might be telepathic ability or some kind of energy field, but the result is clear. The more afraid their victims are, the stronger the Shatar become." Helen showed more images. "Survivor reports describe Shatar farms. Thousands of beings from different species, kept alive in small cages, constantly terrified. The Shatar do not kill them quickly. They keep them afraid for years. What do the Shatar look like? No one knows for sure. They seem to be able to change their shape. Sometimes they look like shadows. Sometimes they appear as the worst fears of whoever is looking at them." Sam moved to the center of the map. "The important thing to understand is that this is not random. This is an organized system that has existed for millions of years." He drew lines connecting the different colored dots. "The hunters work together sometimes. The Vorthak provide muscle and resources. The Nexari provide speed and technology. The Shatar provide fear tactics that make prey species easier to control." General Murphy studied the map. "How many prey species are there?" "Hundreds that we know about. Probably thousands more that stay hidden. Each one has evolved different ways to avoid being caught. Helen pulled up files on her tablet. The Kithara, like Vexca's people, have incredible sensor technology. They can detect approaching ships from light years away. The Zelani can become almost invisible. The Mothak live entirely on moving ships, never staying in one place. The Quillari can survive in environments that would kill most other species, Sam added. They hide in places so dangerous that even hunters will not follow. General Murphy walked over to look at the blue dots on the map. All of these species, and none of them ever fight back? They tried in the beginning, Helen said. But prey species evolved to run and hide, not to fight. Their weapons are defensive. Shields, speed, camouflage. They never developed the kind of military technology needed to attack. Also, Sam said, they do not work together. Each species only thinks about saving itself. They have never formed alliances or shared technology. Until now, General Murphy said. Yes, sir, until now. Sam pulled up a new image. It showed recent activity near human space. Something is happening? Ever since we made contact with the Kithara, we have seen increased movement in the hunter territories. What kind of movement? The Nexari have sent scout ships to investigate human space. The Vorthak are moving battle fleets toward our borders, and there are reports of Shatar activity in nearby systems. Helen looked worried. The prey species in our area are sending us warnings. They say the hunters are curious about us. They want to know what kind of species protects prey instead of hunting them. General Murphy stared at the map for a long time. So we have gotten their attention. Yes, sir. And according to our alien friends, that is very dangerous. Hunter species do not like competition. They especially do not like anyone who threatens their food supply. The prey species are their food supply? In different ways, yes. The Vorthak need them for labor and resources. The Nexari need them for entertainment. The Shatar need them for fear energy. Sam pointed to a cluster of red dots moving towards human space. Sir, we need to make a decision soon. We can try to avoid conflict by giving up the prey species that have come to us for help. Absolutely not, General Murphy said quickly. Or we can prepare for war against enemies we do not fully understand. General Murphy looked at both of them. How long do we have? Maybe 6 months before the first hunter fleets reach our territory, Sam estimated. Then we use those 6 months to learn everything we can about our new enemies. And we use them to teach our new friends how to fight. Helen raised her hand. Sir, the prey species have no experience with warfare. They are psychologically programmed to run, not fight. Then we will have to reprogram them, the general said. Because running is not going to work anymore. The hunters know where they are now. He walked back to the map and stared at the approaching red dots. For millions of years, this galaxy has been ruled by predators. It is time for that to change. 3 weeks later, Ambassador Carl Wright sat in a meeting room on Harmony Station. The space station hung in empty space between human and alien territory. It was neutral ground, built quickly for this historic meeting. Carl looked across the table at the alien called Vex-Ka. The alien was even stranger up close than in the pictures. Vex-Ka was very tall, maybe 8 feet, with skin that changed colors like a lizard. His large eyes never stopped moving, always watching for danger that might come from any direction. Please, great hunter Carl, Vex-Ka said through the translation machine. His voice shook with fear. We have brought tribute ships, 50 of them, filled with our best metals and technology. Take them and let our people flee to the outer edges of space. Carl felt tired. They had been having the same conversation for hours. Vexka, please listen to me. We are not hunters. We do not want your tribute. We want to be friends. Vexka's skin turned a darker color. In his language, this meant confusion and terror. Friends? We do not understand this word. You are hunters. We are prey. This is the way of all life. Dr. Helen Casey sat next to Carl. She was an expert on how different cultures worked. She had been studying the aliens for weeks, trying to understand how they thought. Vexka, Helen said gently, can you tell us about your history? How long has your people been afraid? Afraid? Vexka's eyes grew even wider. We are not afraid. We are wise. We know the truth of the galaxy. The strong hunt the weak. The weak must run or die. This has always been so. But who do you run from? Carl asked. Vexka was quiet for a long moment. Then he began to speak, and his words made the humans understand how terrible the galaxy really was. We run from the Vorthak, he said. They are large and strong with claws like knives. They keep other species like farm animals. They eat some and make others work as slaves. Helen wrote notes quickly. This was important information. We also run from the Nexari, Vexka continued. They hunt for fun. They chase smaller species across space, taking months to catch them. They enjoy the fear. The longer we run, the happier they become. Carl felt sick. Are there others? Oh, yes. The Shatar are the worst. They do not eat meat. They eat fear itself. They keep prey species alive just to be afraid. The more terror they feel, the stronger the Shatar become. The room became very quiet. Carl looked at the other humans in the room. They all had the same expression of shock and anger. How many species like yours are there? Helen asked. Many hundreds, Vexka replied. Some can become invisible. Some can fly faster than light. Some can live without air or water. But we all do the same thing. We run, we hide. We survive by never staying in one place too long. Carl began to understand something important. Vexka, in all your history, have you ever met hunters who did not want to hurt prey species? What do you mean? Hunters hunt. That is what hunters do. It is their nature. But what if hunters could choose not to hunt? Vexka stared at Carl like he had said something impossible. Choose? Hunters do not choose. They follow their instincts. Like water flows down, like fire burns up, hunters hunt. This is a law of nature. Dr. Amanda Stone had been quiet during the meeting. She was still learning about alien biology. Now she spoke up. Vexka, may I ask about your body? You have eyes on the sides of your head, like earth animals that are hunted. Your legs are built for running fast. Your skin changes color to hide you. Yes, Vexka said, not understanding why this mattered. On Earth, our planet, animals like you are called prey animals, but humans are different. We have eyes in the front of our heads like hunters, but we also have something else. What is that? Amanda pointed to her head. We have large brains that let us choose. We can decide to hunt, or we can decide to protect. We evolved as hunters, but we learned to care for others. Vexka's skin turned colors rapidly. He was having trouble understanding this idea. You are saying that you are hunters who choose not to hunt? Yes, Carl said. And more than that. We are hunters who choose to protect prey species from other hunters. Vexka stood up suddenly. He began walking around the room in quick, nervous circles. This was how his people acted when they could not understand something. "This is not possible," he said. "If you protect prey, other hunters will attack you. You will be destroyed." "Maybe," Carl said, "but we will try anyway." "Why? What do you gain from this?" Carl thought about how to explain human nature to someone who had never seen it before. "We gain the knowledge that we did the right thing. We gain friends instead of enemies. We gain a galaxy where everyone can live without fear." Vex-Ka stopped walking. He stared at Carl for a long time. "You would fight the Vorthak to protect species you do not even know?" "Yes. You would fight the Nexari even though they have ships." "Larger than planets?" "Yes." "You would fight the Shatar who feed on terror itself?" "Yes." Vex-Ka sat down, slowly. His skin had turned a color the humans had never seen before. Amanda made a note to ask what it meant later. "If this is true," Vex-Ka said quietly, "then everything we know about the galaxy is wrong. For millions of years, we have believed that prey can only run. We have built our entire civilization around fleeing. Maybe it's time to try something different," Helen suggested. Vex-Ka looked at each human in the room. "You are asking us to stop running. You are asking us to trust that you will stand between us and the hunters. We are asking you to give us a chance to prove that the galaxy can be different," Carl said. For the first time since the meeting began, Vex-Ka's skin turned a bright golden color. "This means hope," he said, noticing that Amanda was studying his colors. "We have not felt hope in so long that many of our young do not know the word." "Then let's start there," Carl said. "Let's start with hope." Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Pathfinder. He looked out at the stars through the big front window. Something was wrong. His crew had been tracking a strange signal for 3 days now. It was not like anything they had seen before. "Captain, we have visual contact," said Ryan Bell from his station. Ryan was the ship's tactical officer. He was good at spotting danger before it became a problem. Jake walked over to the main screen. What he saw made him stop and stare. A ship floated in space ahead of them. But it did not look like any ship humans had ever built. It was smooth and curved like a giant seed. Its surface was dark green and seemed to shine with its own light. "How big is it?" Jake asked. "About twice the size of our ship, sir," Ryan replied. "But, Captain, there's something strange. It has no weapons that we can see, no shields either." Lisa Park turned around from her communication station. She had been trying to talk to the alien ship for hours. "Sir, they won't answer us, but they are sending signals. Lots of them." "What kind of signals?" "That's the weird part. They all seem to be the same message over and over. But I can't understand what they're saying." Jake frowned. This was humanity's first contact with aliens. They had always wondered, what would happen when they finally met other beings from space? Would they be friendly? Would they want to fight? No one had expected this. Dr. Amanda Stone came onto the bridge. She was the ship's expert on life from other worlds. She carried a tablet computer in her hands and looked excited. "Captain, I've been studying their signals," she said. "I think I'm starting to understand some of it." "What are they saying?" Amanda looked at her tablet. "Well, it's hard to be sure, but the same words keep coming up. Words that might mean surrender and please and mercy." Jake stared at her. "They're asking for mercy, but we haven't done anything to them." "That's what I thought too. But there's more. They keep sending what looks like star maps. Maps showing safe paths away from here." Ryan checked his instruments again. "Captain, they're moving away from us, very slowly. It's like they're trying not to make us angry." Jake had trained for many different first contact situations, but none of his training had prepared him for aliens who seemed terrified of meeting. Humans. He made a decision. "Lisa, send them our standard peaceful contact message. Use pictures and simple math. Show them we want to talk, not fight." Lisa worked at her station for several minutes. Then she sent the message. They all waited. The alien ship stopped moving away. But it did not come closer either. "They're responding," Lisa said. "But, Captain, their response is strange." The main screen filled with images from the alien ship. Jake and his crew saw pictures of the aliens themselves for the first time. They were tall and thin, with long arms and legs. Their heads were large, with huge eyes on the sides instead of the front. They moved in quick, nervous ways like deer when they sensed danger. The images showed the aliens loading cargo into smaller ships. They were packing quickly, as if getting ready to run away. Other images showed star charts with arrows pointing away from human space. "They're showing us treasure," Amanda said, studying the images. "Gold, rare metals, technology. I think they're offering to give us everything they have." "In exchange for what?" "For letting them leave." "Captain, I don't think they understand." "That we want to be friends. They think we're going to attack them." Jake felt confused and sad. Here was humanity's first meeting with aliens, and the aliens were so scared they wanted to give away everything they owned just to escape. "Sir," Ryan said, "I'm picking up more ships on long-range sensors. Looks like more alien vessels heading away from us at high speed." "How many?" "At least 20, maybe more. Captain, I think we scared an entire fleet." Jake made another decision. "Lisa, send them a new message. Tell them we will stay right here. We won't follow them. We won't chase them. Use every way you can think of to show them we are not dangerous." Lisa worked for a long time on the message. She used pictures of humans helping each other, pictures of human children playing, pictures of flowers and peaceful things. She sent mathematical formulas that were beautiful instead of warlike. Slowly, very slowly, the alien ship stopped moving away. It stayed in the distance, but it stopped running. "They're still sending us offerings," Amanda reported. "But now they're also asking questions. Simple questions, like they're testing to see if we're really peaceful." Hours passed. The two ships stayed far apart, sending careful messages back and forth. Jake began to understand that these aliens had never met anyone who did not want to hurt them. The idea of peace was so strange to them that they could barely believe it. As the day went on, more alien ships appeared, but instead of running away, they formed a circle far round the human ship. They were watching, waiting to see what would happen. "Captain," Amanda said quietly, "I think we're looking at a species that has spent its entire history running away from something. They've never learned to fight because they've always had to flee." Jake looked at the alien ship on his screen. He thought about how scared they must be. These beings had probably been running and hiding for thousands of years. And now they had met humans, who they thought were just another enemy to fear. But humans were different. Jake knew that his species had learned to hunt, yes, but they had also learned to protect the weak. They had learned to help instead of harm. "Send them one more message," Jake told Lisa. "Tell them we want to meet face to face. Tell them we want to learn about them. And tell them that no one will hurt them. While we are here, this was only the beginning."